So there today has been today has been a pretty interesting day for Capcom, and they have been basically getting dragged. And I don't know what's going on at Capcom. Like their games have had issues with like what you call it for microtransactions. Street Fighter 6, they have like horrible trends like prices for transactions for like their DLC costumes that they have up there. Um, and a little bit I understand the prices for some of them because some of those prices are for other franchises, so they have to like chill out some money for them. But this one is kind of like a little bit weird, um, because a couple of like months ago, Itsuno-san, the game director for Dragon's Dogma, he's like a veteran game director at Capcom, and he came out and says he's basically saying that fast travel is like boring, or it's like something if you have fast travel in your game, then your game is not good or your game is boring. And so he's saying that that's basically telling you that you just have to. What he's trying to say is, if you have fast travel in the game, that means that traveling through your game is like boring, and you just basically have to. He wants people to like enjoy it. He wants to make sure like people are like enjoying his game. It doesn't have they don't have to like basically equivalent to like Spider-Man. If you play the Marvel Spider-Man game, how like so much fun swinging through like the city is. Like I rarely use fast travel in that game. Um, and I feel like that Izuna-san is trying to like be more like that. But what I'm seeing, what I hear about the this game is that fast travel would be definitely like like to have that. But this was it caused a little bit of uproar when he said this back in like it says January is when this article was posted. And so now, as soon as the games came out, there are microtransactions in the game, and it's some of those microtransactions are for helping you, do some to like fast travel, which is honestly crazy. But let's look at this video here.
Camping kits are what you Dragon's Dogma.
This video here, so they tell us how bad the microtransactions are, because I don't know how bad they actually are, because I don't have the game. But we're about to see how bad they are.
2's glowingly positive critical reception is juxtaposed with an overwhelming number of negative reviews on Steam due to the reveal of a whole list of microtransactions that let you buy everything from camping kits to fast travel enabling port crystals for a few bucks a pop. Let's take a look at each of these items, explain what they're used for, how easy it is to obtain them in the actual game, and consider how egregious the microtransactions actually are.
Oh, that's good to know. They're going to show us like how we can get those items without doing the microtransaction. But I always hate this. Like this is one of the things I don't like about some gaming companies doing is that they do stuff like this where like the small stuff in the games are you know they have like the microtransactions to like use. And honestly, I think we should have saw this coming back with Devil May Cry 5, cuz they had microtransactions to get like what you call it to the blorbs, the red orb no the orbs, the red orbs that you use as like currency in that game if you don't know what it is in Devil May Cry, the Devil May Cry series. We should have saw this coming back then. So this is technically not the first time, but I don't think that it was as bad as people are making it out as like it is now. But let's watch the video, see how bad they are.
First off, there's the Explorer's Camping Kit. Camping kits are what you need to rest at campfires out in the wilderness. They are no doubt a very important item, but they are also very easy to find. You'll find your first one pretty much on the beaten path while you're following Gregor to the capital, and you can buy them at pretty much any item merchant in a variety of different weights and themes for fairly cheap. The only reason why this might be a tempting buy using real money is if your camp gets ambushed and destroyed, leaving you without a way to rest until you make it back to a major town. For this reason, I'd always recommend having 2 camping kits, one equipped on person and one equipped on your pawn as a backup. Otherwise, being stranded in the wilderness without a camp is about as good of a reason as any to use a fairy stone to get back to town. Harpy snares are actually fairly rare in my experience. I've only come across 5 of them in the 50 hours I've played, and for the life of me, I couldn't tell you where they're from. Talking with peers, it seems like they're generally rewards for random monster cullings or rescue missions that you encounter in the wilds. In any case, the use for these is to call Harpy to you and grab onto it so that you can fly to an out-of-reach treasure chest. It is a very situational item, and there's only been a few times I felt like I've ever actually needed to use it, as throwing pawns to out-of-reach treasure chests usually accomplishes the same thing. Heartfelt pendants are an item that you can use to increase your relationship rating with a character. Truth be told, I haven't found one of these yet in my experience, so I checked it out by buying it and gifting it to the sweet little bartender in Vernworth. It instantly brought her relationship level to the point where she would blush at me and leave me gifts and flirty messages at my house. Which, I mean, I guess that's cool, but I've also already got several other characters that I've gotten to that level just by playing through side quests. So unless you really like the idea of making any PC into your boyfriend/girlfriend/cat person friend, you probably don't need this item. Ambivalent Rift allows you to randomly change your pawn's inclination. I don't know why you'd want to pay money for this because, for one, you can't choose what your pawn sounds like, and for two, you can buy this item from the Pawn Guild in Vernworth for 500 RC anyway. If you did want to change your pawn's inclination to a specific inclination, you can do that too at the same place, though it costs much more RC. As far as I've been able to tell, makeshift jail keys have one notable use. If you get thrown in jail after committing some sort of crime in town, you can use them to unlock your cell and escape. You could, though, alternatively bribe the guard with gold, find a key in your cell, or find a breakable wall. There was a moment I encountered in the Bakbatal jail where I was out of makeshift keys, didn't have the money anymore to bribe, and couldn't find any other way to escape. In that very hyper-specific situation, I could see the temptation to buy a key, but for any other scenario, there's absolutely no reason to ever spend money on one of these. Art of Metamorphosis allows you to change the appearance of your pawn at a Barbary, something that I can imagine someone might want to do, but once again, you can get this in-game for a relatively inexpensive 500 RC. And now port crystals. Alright, so here's where things get sketchy. Everything up to this point has ranged from either being very situational, to easily obtained by other means, to being mostly useless for the most part. But port crystals are actually a big deal. These are portable fast travel waypoints that you can drop wherever you want and use a fairy stone to travel to them. They are exceedingly rare in this game, with there only being 2 stationary ones in Vernworth and Hard Village, and 4 portable ones that I've found, usually as big rewards for lengthy side quests or by finding exceptionally well-hidden secrets. And just to be clear, intentionally designing an element of the game to be limiting and then providing a paid way to circumvent that limitation is kind of gross, plain and simple. It sucks, and all I can say is that while having 1 or 2 extra port crystals definitely would be helpful, you still also need fairy stones to travel, and those cannot be purchased with real money. So while having extra port crystals does help with fast travel, you're still going to be limited by your fairy stone supply. Wake stones are used to bring you back to life with full life whenever you lose all of your health. Alternatively, they can also be used to resurrect NPCs that you may have killed. They're pretty rare and very useful, but also this game's autosaves are fairly generous and will always put you back at the start of any fight against a tough enemy. They're also not so rare to the point where you'll just never have them. You can actually find an item called the Demon's Gaze, located inside Vernworth Castle atop one of the towers, which will allow you to ping Wakestone Shard locations on the map in the immediate area. Then there are Rift Crystals, which is a currency used within the Rift to hire pawns that are higher level than you, or, as mentioned earlier, to buy items that allow you to customize elements of your pawns. I never found myself needing to use Rift Crystals throughout my playthrough. You never want to hire a pawn that's too high of a level because you risk contracting Dragon's Plague, and if you're thorough in your exploration, you'll find forgotten Rift Stones out in the field, which will allow you to summon higher level pawns for free. So, all in all, the only thing that's worth getting up in arms here about are the port crystals, and to be fair, it is pretty egregious. There's definitely reason to be upset here, but at the same time, it is also true that these are completely ignorable. Let us know what you think down in the comments. If you're looking for extra help with fast travel, check out our video on how to find 13 fairy stones and 3 port crystals without having to spend any
Okay, that was a pretty good video. Um,
money. And for everything else, keep it here.
I mean,
Dragon's Dogma.
yeah, definitely the worst part about it is those porting things and the port crystals. When I hear, because I was listening to people, somebody, the Gaming Illuminati, check them out. I was watching them review the game on their podcast, and they were talking about how annoying the fast traveling was, and this was before they found out about like the micro transactions. And so I would definitely say, because I feel like fast travel and traveling throughout the game is like a very crucial aspect in like any game, especially in open world RPGs. And whether you want people to like experience like your game without fast traveling, it's honestly a necessity in like open world games. So like and like they have fast traveling, and I don't know. I don't know. It just feels weird. It feels weird that you the director made this a comment, and then it later found out you have to pay for like more, essentially. And especially if like it's like rare to find them in the game. The port crystals, rare to find them in the game. It's very strange and like suspicious. It's like and like I'm definitely like side eyeing. It's like, okay, this is weird that you did this. And I hope you don't do this again, because this is honestly crazy that you did it. Um, and I guess let's see what cause they put out Capcom put out like I guess an update about the events, about like the whole thing. Okay, the crashes. I can start a new game. Pay DLC. So all the listed items below can be obtained in-game or as paid DLC items. Art of Metamorphosis, character editor. We like to update you to status of filings about which we have received numerous comments about the community. To all those looking forward to the game, we sincerely apologize for the inconvenience. It's not much of a update. Let's see what people are saying here. Yeah, fast travel. Yeah, it's not a good look. It's definitely not a good look. It's definitely not a good look. Saying that fast travel is saying that the game is boring, but then later it turns out there's a paid DLC for like the fast traveling, and like honestly all the other stuff you can probably just ignore if you wanted to. But the fast traveling is like a crucial part about you know crucial a part of like an open world game, and it's honestly crazy that they did it. Capcom has responded to the situation in a new blog post, reiterating that most of the items available for purchase are also available in-game. Notably, Dragon's Dogma 2 has also risen back up to mix on Steam. Mm, I mean, yeah, but it's just that thing. It's just that part where like some of those items are like rare, like the port crystals, according to people in like videos. So, because I haven't really played the based on what I hear from people about those port crystals and like the locations where they're at, it's just they're just so far away from each other. Yeah, this is definitely L from Capcom. Their first L in a while. Well, actually, they've had L's with like the microtransactions. It just seems like the microtransactions DLCs for Capcom has not been great for them.